Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this morning's session with the Coldwell Banker Concierge Program. Today's session is about corporate relocation. I'm Tom Colucci, Relocation Director for Colorado, and I'm going to walk you through some of the business opportunities and some of the ways that you can earn additional money by working with the Relocation Department. So with that, we'll get right into the slides. So the relocation department in Colorado is located in the home office at 600 Grant Street. We have a team of 6 of us, and we handle all of the corporate relocations. There are also 2 additional team members out of the Northern California office that you may work with as well if you do work on broker-to-broker referrals. And I'll talk about all the different business lines in a moment. One of the things that I wanted to mention today is our Platinum Club. The Platinum Club is open to all agents, so it's not just relocation agents. It is for all agents that close 2 or more outgoing referrals in a calendar year. Once you're in the Platinum Club, you'll be invited to our annual retreat in Vail, which is an overnight stay and reception. And you'll get additional advertising such as 5280 magazine, and we usually use the Denver Business Journal as well. So that is the Platinum Club. CB Connections refers to the outgoing referral program, and just to reiterate outgoing referrals for those of you that may not know, that is any referral that takes place out of our market area. So it has to be outside of one of our 14 Coldwell Banker residential brokerage offices in Colorado. So it may still be in Colorado, but it may be in a town like Grand Junction where we don't service, or of course anywhere else in the U.S. or really anywhere in the world. We work with the Cardis Broker Network. They are the ones that we typically place the referrals through, and there are about 750 Cardis brokers that we work through, and we could pretty much service referrals anywhere throughout the world. On the next slide, we are going to talk about additional business opportunities beyond outgoing referrals. The first business line is the affinity program. So affinity referrals, affinity refers to referrals that are done with a group of members in mind. So the best example would really be USAA. And USAA is active and retired military that belong to USAA and take out at least one product line, typically insurance or banking. So by being part of their affinity program, members receive a cash back for working with Coldwell Banker. Coldwell Banker and Sotheby's are the only 2 in the Denver metro area that work with USAA, and in the South, ERA Shields and Coldwell Banker are the two brokers. One thing I want to mention about affinity referrals that some folks don't realize: you do not have to be on the relocation team or affinity trained to work this business. So for example, if you're at an open house and someone comes in and you speak with them about purchasing a home, maybe they're not interested in the one that you're holding open, but you want to pick them up as a client. If they mention that they are part of USAA and they need to work with a USA certified agent, that really refers to our brokerage. So we will work with you. It only requires a background check, and we will work you through the transaction so that you can keep that client. So please, if you do run into someone on the listing or buy side that's a USAA member, please let us know in the relocation department, and we will get you up and running with that. There are about 10 million USA members nationwide, so high likelihood, especially in our area, that you will run into that. On the corporate services piece, which is the second bullet, that refers to any company that is relocating their employees and offering a benefits package. So a good example of that would be Lockheed Martin. Last year, Lockheed Martin did a move of employees. They moved a group from Pennsylvania to Littleton, Colorado. We handled all the incoming referrals, and Cardis Relocation, Cardis handled the overall piece of the relocation. So they handled household goods moves, temporary housing, all of the other pieces, and then they handed off the real estate piece to us in Colorado. Same thing applies as it did on the affinity program. We will work with you if you run into someone that says they're going through a relocation package. You may not be relocation certified, but it's safe to say that we as a company we work with on any given year anywhere between 80 and 90 relocation management companies. So chances are whoever they're relocating with, we can get you quickly certified and walk you through the transaction so you never have to give up your client. So please let us know if you run into someone relocating. Broker-to-broker referrals is what we're going to look at next, and that is any referral that comes into our market area from another broker. That's handled out of our California office. Kelly Ento is the lead counselor on that. She will receive the referrals from any one of the Cardis Network brokers. She'll be placing them in Colorado with your sales manager, and it will eventually be given out typically to a relocation agent. R&I is the next bullet. The R&I program is the referral network, and it's really for anyone with a broker's license who does not actively conduct a real estate. So if you know someone that has the real estate license, but they're not conducting business on a day-to-day basis, they can hang their license with the referral network. Very inexpensive. I believe it's $25 for a one-time fee. And then they can place referrals through the network. It's a very profitable undertaking for a small amount of money. I have my Massachusetts license with the R&I group there. Very easy for me to place a referral and get a referral fee back on any business anywhere in the U.S. The last bullet in the slide is talking about sales leads. And we welcome any sales leads that you may have. Typically, it's someone in a human resources department that you may know, maybe a spouse, a friend, or a former colleague. And if you hear certain signals or signs that they may need help with their relocation program, we ask you to contact the relocation department. And what you would hear typically is something like, I'm spending all my time helping our employees move into Colorado or out of Colorado. I feel like all I'm doing is coordinating temporary housing, travel, household goods moves, things like that. You know, you'll be able to pick up on that, and you can quickly offer our services. Most of our services do not come with a fee, so we work on a referral fee basis, and we help them with all the pieces that we can. If it's outside of our scope, we will typically refer it to Cardis, and we will connect your referral to Cardis and make arrangements for them to get a proposal if it's something that they need. So keep us in mind for that. And I know I've mentioned Cardis quite a few times in the presentation. Cardis is the largest provider of relocation services in the world. Last year, they handled 130,000 transactions in 160 countries around the world. So again, we get all the business coming in and out of Colorado, along with a couple of other partners that I mentioned on the Cardis network. But just know that if you do have referrals really anywhere in the world, or have an HR contact that might need help anywhere in the world, we can help you with that. So when we talk about the Cardis broker network, I mentioned there are about 750 Cardis brokers in the network in the U.S. We are what's considered a principal broker. There are 2 principal brokers in the Denver metro area and 2 in the South Colorado Springs area. Again, we share a principal broker status with Sotheby's, Live Sotheby's, and then we share it with ERA Shields in Colorado Springs. So as a principal broker, we are on what's known as a rotation. So each week we are on rotation. We would get a number of referrals. If it is a listing referral, we typically compete with the other principal broker. If it's a home buyer referral, if it's our week that we're number 1 in rotation, we would get all the buyers for that week. And then, of course, we have to swap out, and Sotheby's may be number 1 next week, and it goes on a rotation throughout the year. So lots of business through that. We want to keep our principal broker status. It's a performance-based network, as you see here on the slide. Lots of measurements that are required that go into our principal status. We are a platinum broker additionally, which means we have the highest status on the network. We met all of the, actually surpassed all of the requirements for network status, and that helps us out with the rotation. We do get a more favorable rotation and more referrals each week by having the platinum status. We talked about incoming and outgoing referrals. Again, typically placed in the Cardis broker network. So if you do know someone that's moving and it does not touch our 14 office market area, please contact Relocation or go to CB Agent Info. And when you're on CB Agent Info, you'll see a Google-like search bar. You can put in outgoing referral, relocation referral, any keyword that would pull up the outgoing referral template. You'll complete the template, put any information that you feel is necessary for the receiving agent to get. And when you hit send, it goes to Denise Mueller in our Northern California office. She handles all of the outgoing referrals for Colorado. She will place it with a broker. She will ask you up front, or you can tell her on the template, if there's a broker that you would like to use, you can put them in. If you'd like to speak to the broker that she's going to assign first, you can do that. Any details you can give us that would make it more likely to convert is a big help. So that form has lots of room for you to put any information that you can. And keep in mind, the transaction may not have anything to do with Colorado. So a lot of folks don't realize they may have, parents that are living in New York that are selling their home. That would be one outgoing referral. Denise would find you a great broker in New York. And let's say they're retiring to Florida. That's a second outgoing referral. You would get a second check. Denise would find a second agent in Florida to help with the purchase end, and you would have 2 referrals with the 1 client. So just keep us in mind when you have that situation. So on the next slide is a list of relocation management companies. I just try to put our top, 20 or 25 companies on this slide because you might hear these names out in the marketplace. We do work with between 80 or 90 in a year, which I mentioned. Some have very small volume, some have very big volume. So Ayers is a very big one in our market, along with Altair, Brookfield Global Relocation, Cap Relo, Cardis, Grable Relocation Services, of course, headquartered in Aurora, Colorado. Lexicon is another big one. Mobility Services International is located in the tech center, and Server Worldwide is another huge provider of relocation business. They all operate just like Cardis, to a certain degree. They have their own clients and their own processes and procedures, but they are providing us a relocation referral for one of their corporate clients who is moving one of their employees. On the next slide, it talks about the actual corporations that we've worked with. And again, typically these come from a third party like Cardis or Ayers or Brookfield or any of the companies that I just mentioned. Those relocation management companies typically sign agreements with corporations to move all of their employees. So, it's a pretty captive audience. And if that client happens to be located in Colorado, in our market area, we can see multiple transactions in our marketplace from the same employer. So if you take a look at this slide here, Lockheed Martin is one I mentioned. They moved several hundred, I want to say 200 or 300 employees to Littleton, Colorado. Comcast has a presence here as well. TJX Companies just did a big move, actually out of Wyoming, but a lot of folks lived in Fort Collins. So we were able to, work on all of these clients listed, our clients, corporations that we've worked with in the past. Just to give you the scope of the department I mentioned, there are 6 of us, including myself, here in Colorado, plus Denise Mueller and Caliento in California. So between the 8 of us, we closed 1,811 transactions just through our department last year. You can see the total dollar volume of the closings, $565 million, and the GCI earned by the agents. About 198 agents shared in that $16 million in commissions. We have about 225 relocation agents on our team out of the 1,200 agents in the company. And those 225 agents typically get the share of relocation activity into and out of Colorado. And for anyone that's watching, if you are interested in being on the relocation team, the requirements are that you close 10 transactions per year in each of the 2 years preceding you joining and taking the certification. So you do need those 20 transactions 2 years in the business in order to take the relocation certification class, which is offered once a year. If you do meet those qualifications, please see your manager if you're interested, and they can recommend you for the team. So I mentioned a little bit about what does it take to be a platinum agent. 2 outgoing referrals closed in a calendar year qualifies you for the Platinum Club. I'm happy to say we already have 18 agents who have closed 2 outgoing referrals this year. We actually have a few that have closed 3. I know Marilyn Dana, for example, in the Devonshire office has already closed 3 outgoing referrals. She'll be joining the Platinum Club and hopefully joining us in Vail, Colorado next spring. But in addition to that overnight retreat, as I mentioned, additional advertising with your photo and contact information will be placed in the Denver Business Journal and 5280 magazine. Another benefit of this is that the Platinum agents tend to like to work with other Platinum agents. So they really understand relocation, and they've closed 2 outgoing referrals themselves. So what we find is when they're placing referrals to another office, even in our own company, they look to that list of Platinum agents. There's typically anywhere from 30 to 35 Platinum agents a year. So for someone, let's say in Fort Collins, who has a client moving down to Colorado Springs, they could look at that Platinum agent list and be comfortable knowing that that agent they're referring their client to is familiar with relocating, someone relocating to a new area, and will take great care of them. CB Connections is what we call the outgoing referral program. So when you do go into CB Agent Info, if you are going to place an outgoing referral using the template, again, in the search bar, you'll put in the words outgoing referral or relocation referral, and what will pull up is a template. That template mentioned, or the name on the template is CB Connections, which is just the name of the program that we have. And the way the outgoing referrals work, starting January of this year, we are now able to collect a 35% referral fee from all of the brokers in the Cardis broker network. So for those of you that are used to placing broker-to-broker referrals on your own in the past, maybe at other companies, typically a broker-to-broker referral would get you a 25% referral fee. Well, all of these brokers in the Cardis network have agreed to a 35% referral fee. So when you place it through our department, and we use a Cardis broker network broker, you will receive 35% of the commission. You will be paid on your split for that full commission, starting with the very first transaction that you do. So if you're on a 70% split, you'll receive 70% of the amount that we receive of that 35%. If you're on a 98% split, you'll receive 98% of that referral we get from the receiving broker. So it's a great way to earn some extra cash. Some agents refer to it as mailbox money. You basically fill out that template, which takes maybe about 2 minutes, and submit it. We do all the rest. We place it, we track the referral, we collect the money in, we issue you the check, and then we do give you that freedom, as I mentioned, to choose the agent that you would like. One thing that many agents don't realize is you do not have to use an agent in our network. So the Cardis broker network is typically comprised of Realogy companies. So you'll often see a Coldwell Banker broker, a Century 21, ERA, Sotheby's, maybe a Better Homes and Gardens, as the recipient of our outgoing referrals. However, that does not have to be the case. So if you do have a great agent that you like to work with Keller Williams or Remax or Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, for example, you can request that agent. Just know that those agents typically see these referrals as a standard broker-to-broker referral. It's always negotiable. However, they're typically used to seeing a 25% referral fee. So if you refer or request someone not on the Cardis network, just know that we'll try to get the 35% for you. Often we get the standard 25%, but we can do that for you. And this just gives a definition again for any of you that replay this or keep this on hand. If you have any questions about an outgoing referral, to anyone who wants to buy or sell anywhere that Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage does not have an office. And we've placed referrals in, let's see, Athens, Greece, Florence, Italy, the Bahamas, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Canada. We can pretty much find a broker anywhere in the world for you. It takes a lot of the work off of your hands. Trust me, you do not want to be trying to do that on your own. And then here's a great piece on why you would want to be on the relocation team. So we have a lot of agents saying the relocation referral fees are very high. It's not worth it for me to have that as part of my business, which we totally understand, which is why we only have about 200 agents out of the 1,200 that are on the relocation team. But those 200 or so agents understand that when you receive a relocation referral, the whole idea is do a great job, pay the referral fees that come along with it. In almost every case, we are paying a referral fee Right now, it's typically 40% from all of those relocation management companies that we showed on the previous slides. They're charging us 40%. We charge you 46.5% plus 0.4% of the sale price. And so it is expensive business. However, it is business that you do not have to earn on your own, do not have to go out looking for, and if you do a great job, you should roughly receive 3 additional referrals without a referral fee. So we did do a study back in when I was at Coldwell Banker New England, and generally an agent, when they're tracked over a period of time that got a referral fee, could see it was actually somewhere between 2 and 3 additional transactions just from referrals from that original client. And of course, the referrals after that client are free to you. There's no referral fee attached. So you want to try to add them to your sphere and get additional referrals that are not encumbered with a fee. I mentioned Relogy a little bit earlier, and the brokerages that Relogy works with. So Relogy is the parent company of NRT. They're also the parent company of the franchise group, which shows all of the brokerages that I mentioned previously on the left-hand side of the screen. Corcoran Group is in New York City. They're NRT owned, but they're a large New York City broker. You'll see Castle Edge Insurance, which was formerly NRT Insurance, Cardis Relocation Services. They are a Relogy company as well, and the Title Resource Group, along with Axiom Financial, which is the PHH mortgage group that operates in Colorado's Axiom Financial. So that gives you an idea, if you're a newer agent, on how things break down, all under the parent company of Relogy. And then the last thing that I'll talk about is sales leads. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Anyone that you might know outside of real estate that might be a decision maker or can get us to a decision maker for someone who might be interested in a relocation program for their company. No company is too small or too large. We have some companies that we may move, one person, a C-level executive, once a year, every other year, and they don't do a lot of employee relocations. We're happy to help with that executive. And then we have others where we do several hundred transactions a year, which is great too. We can get a little more involved with them. But definitely give me a call or email me to discuss how we can help you with that. Just so that everyone knows, the sales lead program, the agent lead program, if you do refer us to a client and all you do is make the referral and make a warm introduction, I would be calling them and doing a full presentation, negotiating out a contract. As an agent, you would receive 10% of the net revenue that we receive in relocation just for making that introduction. So it's a good residual income if you do have anyone in a corporate position that you think might need our relocation services. And then I guess really the last thing is our Facebook page, Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage Relocation Services. We have a Facebook page. We just posted something on there. We had a scholarship, $2,000 scholarship essay contest. We had 62 entries. We did pick a senior graduating from Boulder, and she was on Colorado's Best with Chris receiving a $2,000 check, and that clip is posted on our Facebook page. So we're doing some interesting things. We hope you check it out, and I just want to say thanks for joining the session today.